So, happy 12-12-12, or 12-12-16, or perhaps 12-12-17, or maybe even 12-12-18. The way we reckon the dates here in the Western world is from the birth of Christ. Now, it used to be called AD, and personally, I still use AD. I don't care for the CE Common Era. My way of looking at it is, I mean, if we can use the months of the year come from the Roman gods. January from Janus, the god who looks backwards and forward. February, which is supposed to be a big celebration. So we should all party all February. March, the great god Mars. April is a variation of Aphrodite, the great goddess Aphrodite. Then May, the gentle goddess Maya. And then June, Juno, the queen of the gods. July and August were the Caesars, who are both, gods and, well, Caesars. And then there's, September, November, December, which actually means 7th, 8th, 9th, and 10th. Decem means 10. Those are numbered, but they sort of got shoved back because Julius and Augustus wanted their months in the summer. At least that's the way I remember it. Anyway, it's kind of a good way to remember it. So, the months of the year are the Roman gods. The weeks, the days of the week, come from, well, the Norse gods. I forget Tuesday, actually. But Wednesday that's the great god Woden, which is why we have a D in Wednesday. W-E-D. You ever wonder about that one? Thursday, the great god Thor. And Friday, the great god Freya. Or at least I think it's Freya. I'd have to look that up, but I don't really care. If we can have the months of the year named after the Roman gods, and the days of the week named after the Norse gods, then what's the big deal about having the year named after, well, dated from the birth of Christ? It doesn't make any difference to me. So I still use AD. AD means Anno Domini, which technically means in the year of our Lord. Of course, maybe that's what people object to, but again, I don't care. So it's dated from the year of Christ's birth. And there was no year 0. There's a year 1, which is the year Christ was born. So supposedly this is the 2012 year of our Lord Christ, which is, if you don't count the year he was born, it's the 2011 year after the year he was born. But whatever. The thing is, most scholars agree that Christ wasn't born in the year 1. That was somebody way back when setting the date, because that's what they thought it was. Of course, he wasn't born in December either, but he definitely wasn't born in the year 1. Most likely 4 to 6 years earlier. I even learned that in Catholic school, that the date was wrong, but we're sort of stuck with this dating system. You can imagine the chaos if everybody decided to shift it back, and which date would you shift it back to, and who cares? So it really isn't 12-12-12. And yet this is supposed to be an auspicious day. A whole bunch of people are running out getting married today because it's supposed to be an auspicious day. Depending on who you talk to. There's an article on the ABC News site, and I'll link it. It's okay, but there's this guy called Scott Petullo. He's a Las Vegas numerologist who turned his expertise in handwriting analysis and astrology from a hobby into a profession, and he is a believer in whatever, I'm not exactly sure. But he's a believer, even though he knows others might view him as a New Age wacko charlatan or snake oil salesman. And he said the day can be auspicious or challenging based on other factors, such as how the patterns in a person's comprehensive charts harmonize with the date. In other words, whatever I say is correct, so pay me. I always love this aspect of the pseudo sciences, or I even have a problem calling it pseudoscience. It's more like pseudo-faux science or faux pseudoscience. Faux pseudo? Pseudo-faux? Pseudo-faux. I like that. Pseudo-faux. Pseudo-faux science. They're right, their psychic ability, their numerology, their astrology, probably even their alchemy. I'm sure there are alchemists out there somewhere. They're right. It's just that there are all these little variations somehow in the cosmic greatness of all. You know, a butterfly flapped its wings in your subconscious or something. And so things aren't always exactly so. I'm sorry my predictions were off, but you see, you turned left at Main and Broadway rather than right. If you'd have turned right at Main and Broadway when you were going to work on that particular day, everything I told you would have come true. You'd be wealthy and da 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 da. da. So this may or may not be an auspicious day. However, we have a really cool day coming up. That's the 21st. And that's the Mayan calendar says it's going to be the end of the world. Except, of course, the Mayan calendar doesn't say it's going to be the end of the world. If you actually research it, you'll see that it's actually simply the beginning of a new cycle in the Mayan calendar. But a whole bunch of wackos out there think it's the end of the world. And I just find this so much fun. Because the end of the world, well, the world has ended a whole lot of times. There's even a website with a list of ends of the world. See if I can find it and give you the link. The Seventh-day Adventists are particularly entertaining because they have scheduled the end of the world a number of times. But each time it's been a whoops, something was off. Sorry, didn't quite get the message. I was taking a shower when God gave me the message. My ears were full of water, and I thought it meant this date. It didn't mean the other date, you know. The dog interrupted me while I was talking to God, and I was trying to talk to the God. I was trying to talk to God. I just can't talk to both of them at once. I'm not that bright. Whatever reason that the end of the world keeps getting rescheduled. But we knew one thing for certain, the world is going to end. A long time from now. That's not going to stop conspiracy theorists. I find it actually quite entertaining how they decide that the world is supposed to end. Personally, I think it's got to be in 2013 because 13 is unlucky. So I think the world's going to end in 2013. But you know what? We're not even going to know it. See, because the world's going to end, and we're all going to be destroyed. But we won't know it, because we're going to be walking the earth as ghosts. The entire world is going to be a ghost world, but we won't know it. But it will have ended. Just because we don't notice it doesn't mean that it didn't end. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. Goodbye, and have a happy whatever the hell day this really is.